Good day, everyone, and welcome to the Education News Channel, where learning leads the headlines. Coming up next, we're bringing you live coverage of professional development sessions for the next 3 days, focused on improving professional competence in early childhood education. Stay tuned as we take you inside this impactful and insightful discussion. Are you ready? Are your writing materials ready? Allow me now to pleasantly introduce the members of this qualified team that we will be streaming today. Tatiana Carty, Tanisha Blake Hill, Jessie Brown, Tiana Blackett, Crystal Blackman, and Britannia Brown. Stay tuned to the Education News Channel. This professional learning community believes that high-quality early childhood education lays the foundation for lifelong success, guided by inclusive, culturally responsive, and play-based practices that supports every child's development. This year, our professional development will focus on 4 key objectives: enhancing digital literacy in early learning, boosting inclusive classroom practices, improving assessment strategies to monitor holistic growth, and deepening reflective practice. Through collaborative and hands-on working experiences, we will equip educators with the skills and confidence necessary to integrate technology, to support diverse learners, and to engage in continuous reflection, ensuring that high-quality early childhood education is accessible to all children.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Tatiana Carty, representing the Professional Development Committee for Early Childhood Education. I want to just extend a heartfelt thank you to the Education News Network for broadcasting our 3-day professional learning series. Now, these workshops are focused on empowering teachers of tomorrow through inclusive practices, fresh ideas, and thoughtful growth. Now, it is designed to strengthen the capacity of early childhood educators. Now, day 1 focuses on inclusion and equity. Day 2 highlights innovation and assessment, while Day 3 centers on reflective and collaborative practices. We are grateful for the opportunity to share this learning with a wider audience, and we look forward to continuing the journey of educating and elevating early childhood educators across Jamaica and the wider Caribbean.
I thank the Education News Channel for streaming with us today. I am Crystal Blackman, an early childhood educator of 7 years, and my session is titled Building Inclusive Classrooms in Early Childhood Education. I aim to help teachers understand the importance of strong teacher-child relationships, to explore inclusive strategies, and to develop practical actions for inclusion. There are 3 major points to consider. First, warm and responsive teacher-child relationships strengthen belonging, participation, and emotional security. Second, although teachers value inclusion, they often struggle due to limited time, resources, and training, and so they must be adequately supplied. Finally, emotional responsiveness, using supportive behavior management, valuing each child's voice, and adapting lessons for diverse needs are practical strategies for inclusion. These insights guide teachers toward creating inclusive learning environments where all children feel supported and are able to participate fully. So we will now have an inclusive classroom audit activity. Teachers will observe a classroom through pictures, through videos. They're going to identify inclusive elements and those that may exclude different types of learners. They are going to consider the layout, the accessibility, the materials. They are going to collaborate their findings within their group. They're going to draw a sketch of what an inclusive classroom should look like. And then we're going to have a gallery walk to view the sketches of all groups. Miss Britannia Brown will now engage you.
Thank you, Crystal. Hello, everyone. My name is Britannia Brown, and I have my bachelor's in early childhood education and family development. I am a dedicated early childhood educator, and I'm known for my warm, my inclusive approach, strong partnership, and culturally sensitive teaching. I mentor teacher, lead hands-on workshop, and actively support my community, making me a committed leader in early childhood education. I will be covering the topic culturally family responsive engagement, learning about how different homes teach children about emotions. Our session today has 3 objectives. First, to identify how family emotion socialization shapes young children's emotional and behavioral development. Second, to examine different cultural approaches to teaching emotions using case studies. And third, to create culturally responsive communication strategies for working with families. This work is grounded in Zinsser et al. 2021, which highlights 3 key points: Parents strongly influence early emotional development, culturally backgrounds shape how emotions are taught at home. And supportive, validating parenting like labeling feelings and offering comfort leads to better social and emotional outcomes for children. Now, for this activity, simulating emotion cultures in a case study, participants will work in small groups for an hour and 20 minutes. Each group will examine 3 case studies of families from different cultural backgrounds, focusing on how each family teaches, communicates, and responds to emotions. You'll discuss the cultural values and beliefs shaping these practices. Consider how they influenced a child's emotional expression and behavior, and then create an engagement plan that educators can use when working with that family. Each group will share one strategies in a brief whole group discussion. This activity supports our goals by helping you analyze emotional socialization practices, compare cultural approaches, and design communication strategies that strengthen culturally responsive family partnerships. Now, I'll pass on to Jessie.
Thank you so much, Britannia, for such an enlightening session. Now, I will talk about integrating technology in early childhood education. There are 3 key ideas that I highlighted in the article I have selected. Firstly, technology should promote experiential learning and play, not replace the sensory and social interaction that children truly need. Tablets, audio recorders, and interactive story apps are examples of devices that work best when they encourage creativity and exploration. Secondly, selection of digital instruments should be deliberate. We take into account if a tool helps children achieve their developmental objectives, such as expanding their vocabulary, promoting creativity, helping them solve problems, or encouraging teamwork. Besides that, it is important to include teachers' involvement. Teacher guide technology use, model safe and appropriate online behavior, as well as ensure that screen time has a demonstrated purpose. This will allow children to have a productive, balanced experiences with technology. Now I will explain the activity on how technology enhances learning centers. For this activity, participants will work in groups to design 3 learning centers on how we integrate technology. One literacy center, one science and exploration center, and one creative arts center. Every center incorporates manipulative with a digital component. For instance, storytelling apps in literacy, digital microscopes, or coding robots in science, drawing or music apps in the arts. The task allowed the instructor to apply the concepts developed in the article, thinking about how technology can promote learning while keeping play as a foundation of early childhood education. Thank you for listening. I will now hand over to the next presenter who will carry on the session 2 for this morning.
I am Crystal Blackman, reporting for Miss Tanisha Blake Hill. She is an early childhood educator who holds a bachelor's in the field. She specially thanks the reporters of the Education News Channel for being with us today. Her session is titled Using Observation and Documentation to Inform Practice. By the end of the session, participants will be able to describe at least 2 ways in which pedagogical documentation can influence classroom management, examine a sample preschool classroom for improved planning or behavior management, and create a simple documentation plan. Pedagogical documentation strengthens classroom management by giving teachers clearer insights into children's behavior. This helps them to anticipate challenges and build stronger relationships. It also enhances planning as teachers can design activities and routines based on real observations, resulting in more intentional learning experiences. In addition, documentation supports reflective practice by helping teachers notice patterns in how children interact. This allows them to make adjustments to their management strategies to create a more productive classroom environment. Let us now dive into our session's activity. In this activity, participants will begin by revisiting the article's key findings on how documentation strengthens teachers' classroom management. They will then analyze a provided classroom scenario, identify the management challenges present, and determine which types of documentation will help clarify and address those issues. Next, using the documentation planner template, participants will create their own plan. Afterward, they will share their plans and reflect on both the challenges and the strengths of using the template. The activity will conclude by reinforcing that documentation is not only for assessing children's learning, but also a strategic tool for improving the classroom environment. Participants will then be encouraged to implement their plan and reflect on the results. Miss Tiana will now engage you.
Thank you, Ms. Blakehill. Good day, everyone. My name is Tana Blackett, an early childhood educator and professional development facilitator with 10 years of experience in supporting high-quality teaching practices. My work focuses on helping educators strengthen reflective, collaborative, and child-centered approaches that enhance learning for all children. The article selected for today's session aligns closely with this focus. It shows how structured lesson study encourages deep reflection, how collaboration strengthens professional learning communities, and how skilled facilitation sustains meaningful dialogue that leads to better instructional decisions. These ideas directly support our goal of building stronger reflective practices in our classrooms and schools. By the end of this session, you will be able to define reflective and collaborative practice, explain how structured collaboration improves teaching, create a simple reflective practice cycle, and demonstrate a guided reflective conversation. Today's activities will offer practical tools that you can apply immediately as we work together to support intentional, effective, and child-centered learning experiences. This article also directly aligns with our session's purpose. And to put these ideas into practice, today you will do 3 activities. 1, you are going to watch a short mini lesson and take guided notes. 2, you will be placed into groups of 3, one as a teacher, one as an observer, and the other as a facilitator. And you are going to practice reflective dialogue. And then the 3rd, you are going to design a simple reflective cycle that you can take back to your school. And this is what you will share with us, and we will critique and give our take on it. By the end of today's session, you will not only understand reflective practice, but actively experience collaboration and guided reflection to strengthen your professional growth. I now hand you over to Ms. Carty. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. Welcome to day 3. I am Tatiana Carty, early childhood educator and PLC facilitator. Today, I'll be sharing a brief overview of why professional learning communities or PLCs are so essential in early childhood education. Firstly, recent research shows that effective PLCs strengthen both teaching practice and children's school readiness. Wren et al. Found that the most impactful PLCs are grounded in a shared vision, collaboration, and collective resource sharing. Importantly, they discovered that PLCs work best in environments built on trust, respect, and cooperation, meaning the internal culture matters even more than external supports like time or administration. Secondly, Guerrera and colleagues highlight the emotional benefits of PLCs. Their studies show that PLCs foster teacher well-being through supportive relationships, affective bonds, and shared responsibilities. Together, they use these articles to show that PLCs are powerful not only for improving instruction, but for sustaining teachers personally and professionally. These studies were selected because they directly support our goal of strengthening reflective and collaborative practices. They offer both practical evidence of improved child outcomes and human-centered reminders of the importance of trust, belonging, and professional encouragement. Our main activity is a PLC action planning workshop. Now, in your small groups, you'll use a template to create a shared vision, set measurable goals, choose trust building strategies, assign roles, and outline a meeting structure. We'll then share and discuss your plans as a group. Now, thank you for joining us on this, our 3rd and final day of Empowering Teachers of Tomorrow.
In conclusion, these professional development sessions reflect a purposeful and collaborative effort to strengthen early childhood education. By exploring inclusive pedagogy, family engagement, technology integration, child-centered documentation, reflective teaching, and the development of professional learning communities, we have equipped ourselves to better meet the need of diverse young learners. These sessions remind us that teacher growth is continuous, shaped by inquiry, shared dialogue, and the intentional use of new knowledge. As a professional learning community, we remain committed to deepening our understanding of children's development and aligning our practices with our goal of improving professional competence. Through ongoing research, reflection, and collaboration, we aim to create learning environments that uplift every child, empower every educator, and build strong partnerships with families and communities. Ultimately, this professional development plan strengthens our dedication to ensuring early childhood education remains inclusive, innovative, and grounded in practices that support.
Now we have reached the end of our presentation. Thank you for taking the time to listen. We appreciate your support and we hope the ideas shared today inspire continued growth in early childhood education. Together, we keep creating spaces where learning leads the headlines. Thank you once again.